Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and today we are going to fly the fly-by-wire Airbus A380 on the Lufthansa 410 real-world service from Munich to New York John F. Kennedy. This is going to be about an 8-hour flight, and I suppose we don't lose any time but step into the cockpit of our beloved Airbus A380 straight away. So let's going to take a seat and power our aircraft up. The engine masters are off, the start selector is non, landing gear lever down, and the wipers are off. With that we can go ahead and turn on our electrical power, and then we can turn on our external power. Okay, with the aircraft initially powering up, let's go ahead and control our lights, so we basically can turn all the lights off. This is going to be a daylight flight that we are doing today. The only one I do like to keep on is the intake light, because it kind of makes the cockpit a little bit better visible. So we are going to keep that one. Now let's go ahead and have a look into our flight plan and make a decision on the fuel amount that we're about to carry. Now, our flight plan is downloaded over here. Now let's go ahead and have a look into the en route charts first of all.
Awareness, okay. Meters.
Alright, so we are departing Munich, and as you can see, there's good weather conditions all the way into the North Atlantic. We are going to fly over the northernmost track Alpha today, and then on the other end side of the Atlantic, things get a little bit more weary with a couple of fronts that we are passing before reaching Newfoundland, and then a couple more jet streams along the flight along the North American coastline. Overall, this is probably going to be a little bit bumpy, especially when we're crossing those jet streams, so I think it's not going to be the most comfortable flight today. But at least the good news is we can avoid most of the headwind by just flying south of the jet streams over here and then through the crosswind over here, so overall the flight conditions are not too bad today. Now, if we go a little bit further upwards and have a look into the individual weather conditions for the airports along our flight, then we're going to notice that we do have a departure alternate, which is Frankfurt, and that's because the weather in Munich is a rather low overcast here at 300 feet. Not necessarily a problem, but sometimes they do like to file those departure alternates just in case. Our destination, New York, is the very opposite, with very good weather waiting for us in the morning, and then later on it is going to become a rainy day over in New York. We arrive at around 2000 UTC, so we're looking at the weather conditions from about, it's the 10th today, so we're looking at the weather over here, a little bit gusty and some clouds, and then during the night it's going to get rainy, or during the afternoon I should say. On the evening, locally, it's going to get a little bit rainy over in New York. In any case, we are only going to have a 24-hour layover before we are going to fly back to Munich, so that is nothing we need to worry about today, as we'll spend most of the time sleeping and regenerating in the hotel. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's make a decision on our fuel, and for that, I have once again changed the fuel factor, since we had a couple of problems on the flight to Mauritius. So we are using a 97% factor today, with a cruising speed of Mach 8.5 planned. So I do think that should be accurate. So what we have is 110.5 planned takeoff fuel, and then we have 800 taxi fuel. Let's round that up to 1000, so we're looking at a minimum of 111.5 tons. I don't think we'll need much more, so let's make it 112. We'll just round it up. So 112 tons of fuel is what we're going to take for today's service. Now let's go ahead and make an instant load over here, and we can go ahead and do an instant loading of the fuel as well. 112 tons is on board, and with that I think we can go ahead and continue with our flight deck setup. So in general, Airbus doesn't want our guests to be sitting there with no air conditioning for a long time. So let's go ahead and do the fire test, and then we can go ahead and start up the APU. While that's in progress, we are going to switch on the IRSs as well, and then check that our aircraft is airworthy. So recall, nothing in the recall, very good, and Then let's do a quick check of our oxygen. So that's looking good. Hydraulic quantities are looking good. And the engine oil quantities. So FADEC on. Are still not simulated at this time. Not a problem. We'll assume that they are good as well. Alright, perfect. So the flaps and the speed brakes are in agreement with the levers. And we can turn the parking brake off. Cross-check that our brake works manually, which it does. And parking brake back on again. And that's it. Okay, perfect. Last but not least, let's put that seat into a comfortable position over here. Like that. And then I'd say we are ready to start our flight deck setup. So first things first, let's go down here. A380-800 Rolls-Royce engines. And on the init page, we can go ahead and start requesting our company flight plan. Well, and that out of the way, let's go ahead and start our flight deck setup. Luckily, that is really quickly done in, well, pretty much any Airbus aircraft. Going for 24 degrees here. APU bleed can come on. And refueling is complete, so let's go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps as well. Here we go. On the right hand side, nothing more to do. Then we can move down here and start having a look at our QNH, which is 1027. And here we go. Okay, it is the 10th of November 2024 when I'm recording this, and the date is correct. Down here, not a lot to set for now. The squawk is 2000 and transponder on standby. We'll keep the frequencies as they are, but we are flying online on VATSIM, so we will be using those in a couple of moments. Apart from that, nothing to set down here, so let's go into our FMS. Company flight plan is received. We can insert that. It's going to be a Lufthansa 410 Bravo. The Bravo, because there are already people flying the original call sign on VATSIM. It's almost impossible to get the real-life call sign on VATSIM at the moment with so many A380s flying. So, average wind component is a headwind of 20 knots, which is not too bad for an for a westbound flight. And I think I inserted that incorrectly. It's not a tailwind, it's a headwind of 20. Here we go. So the IRS is aligning on the GPS position. For our departure, we are going to depart runway 26 right here in Munich, and our SID is going to be via Olazo, so Olazo to November, I suppose. That's a new one, I haven't flown that one before. But here we go, Olazo to November. Who would have thought that after so many years flying online, there's still new procedures for me, but hey, I do like that. Okay, landing runway is going to be 04 right for the time being, and the approach is going to be an ILS approach. Our arrival, I do believe, is going to be the Part 3 out of Plym. So, star is the Part 3, transition Plym, and we don't need any VIA in here, so let's go to the temporary flight plan and insert. So, as we're doing that, let's go ahead and grab our charts. So, we're departing from Munich. We need a taxi chart down here. And the parking stands east, which is where we're on. And then let's find our SID, Olazo to November. And we can take the RNAV version straight away, and here it is. Perfect, so, initial climb clearance, flight level 70. That's an easy SID, I can fly that. Okay, so straight ahead to Mike November Echo, maximum 220 knots. Let's bring up the plan and the constraints. So, Mike November Echo, 220 knots. Then we have Delta Mike 061, maximum 250, above flight level 70. And we do have that. And then we continue direct to Olazo. Initial climb clearance, flight level 70. And the routing is exactly as it's supposed to be. Perfect. Then let's continue. So, init, navigates. I don't think we need anything over here. Suppose we could tune the Delta Mike November, but we don't even need that. It's all RNAV. Easy going. As you can see, no ADF in this aircraft. It only has VORs, so we can't tune that NDB. But that doesn't matter. Okay, fuel and load. So, back to the flight plan. Zero fuel weight target is 364.9. So, 364.9. Then our zero fuel CG is unknown for the time being, so let's enter 25. And the block fuel, well, we requested 112. Okay, taxi 0.8. Then let's see about our alternate and diversion. So, alternate 7.3, final reserve 4.8. So, alternate 7.3 and final 4.8. Okay, 484 guests, 50 cost index min fuel. It's looking good. I kinda doubt that it's gonna stay at 30.8, so we are good to go. Okay then, let's go for our preliminary takeoff performance, and as always we are going to use SimBrief for these calculations. So let's have a quick look into the SimBrief calculator. Takeoff performance, Munich 26 right, I am going to shorten the runway length by 200 meters. Then, takeoff weight, let's slightly increase that to 477 as we loaded a tiny bit more fuel. Flaps optimum, flex takeoff. We can take the bleeds off, engine anti-ice will be on. The wind, well, yeah, just make it a straight tailwind here. 0.80 at 2, or make it at 5 just to be conservative. Temperature 3, QNH 1027, and it's a dry runway. Calculate. So, flaps 1 is the default. Let's see if we can get a better result with flaps 2. Speed increase to improve climb performance. No? Okay, in that case we are going to make it a flaps 1 takeoff. So what do we have? Flaps 1, 50 degrees flex temperature, speeds 137, 152, 160, and that's with the bleeds off and the engine anti-ice on. Takeoff weight limit is 510 tons, and we have a stop margin of 5 meters with a green dot speed of 223. And I think we can definitely take those values. Okay, so flaps 1 remains. The packs will be off, anti-ice engine only, flex temperature, and we are using, well, starting over here with a 200 meter takeoff shift. Our flex temperature is 50 degrees. And then we set our takeoff speeds are going to be 137, 152, 160. Okay, and then reduction in acceleration will be 2,500 each. Transition altitude 5,000, engine out acceleration 2,980 is okay. And for our climb, we don't need to pre-select any speed over here, so we are good to go. Okay, and that's it. That's our setup complete. So the IRS alignment has finished, then we can, or not finished yet, okay. For the FCU we need 7,000, flight directors on, constraints, airports, and I want the VORs as well. Traffic as well, QNH 1027. Here we go. Okay, that is looking wonderful. So, alignment is finished as well now, and in that case I'd say we can go ahead and commence our takeoff briefing, please. First officer, it's your turn. Okay, thanks. So, Munich runway 26 right via the Olaso 2 November departure, climbing flight level 70 with an MSA at 3,700 feet. Cold temperature correction is not yet needed, and extra fuel and time. Well, the FMS says we have about 13 tons extra, but I kind of doubt that, so we'll see about it when we actually get there. We didn't take any extra, that's for sure. Alright, I do agree with that, so I don't see any problems with the expected taxi routing. Our stop margin in case of a rejected takeoff is 5 meters only, plus the TAS effect, so probably looking at something in the region of about 200 meters-ish. Engine out sits straight at 25 miles, and we are over the maximum landing weight. So if we need to come back, then we'll need to consider, in the majority of cases, we'll probably be able to do an overweight landing. If not, then we might have to consider fuel dumping. Now, Munich is the best option. Frankfurt, of course, available as an alternate as well, but that is half an hour flight time away. I don't see any specials or non-standards for this departure. Do you have any threats? No? Beautiful. So that's our briefing completed. Cockpit preparation checklist, please. Okay, gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity is 112 tons. Baro ref, QNH 1027. Cockpit preparation checklist completed. Well, then let's go ahead and grab our departure clearance. So, 12173.
Bird 5901, I think brake performance able.
Yeah, the taxiways are too small to have an A380, and you have to backtrack on the runway, depending on the runway, the runway operation direction. So currently, a real A380 would not be able to land there. It would just be able to perform a touch and go.
Very nice. That's a very good start for our Watson weekend, isn't it?
Systems in line of Papa requesting clearance to Boston, information Golf.
Stand by.
München Delivery, guten Morgen, Lufthansa, 40 Bravo Super, information Golf, request clearance to New York.
Hello, Lufthansa 40 Bravo, calling shortly. Lufthansa 9er Papa, you do not have a flight plan filed correctly.
They do seem a little bit busy.
You're logged in as Delta Hotel 9er Papa. Please fix that and call me back.
Alright, I do like that though. In the meantime, let's say hello to our guests.
Get you copy?
Copy that, Delta.
Liebe Gäste, einen wunderschönen guten Tag aus
Lufthansa
dem
410 Bravo, ready to copy?
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, go ahead.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, cleared to JFK, Olazo to Sierra departure, flight plan route, climb by still to flight level 70, squawk 2063.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo is cleared to JFK via Olazo to Sierra departure, flight plan route, climb flight level 70, squawk 2063.
Correct, report ready.
We'll go. Okay, that's runway 26 left for our departure. In that case, we'll have to recalculate. So, departure, runway 26 left, and Olazo to Sierra departure, please.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel, hello, clear to Fiumicino, Turbo 7 Sierra departure.
Okay, insert, then the discontinuity over here can be deleted. Then, a quick check of our routing. It's the same chart, luckily. So, straight at Mike Sierra Echo, maximum 220 knots, Delta Mike 053, 250 knots above flight level 70. And we do have almost all of those.
Multiple stations.
Orange 4 Whiskey Uniform Heavy. We have information.
Looking good. Okay, and then towards Olazo, flight level 70 is confirmed and checked.
Correction.
Check takeoff data, we'll do that. Okay,
Orange 4 Whiskey
2063.
Uniform Heavy.
Orange 4 Whiskey Uniform, Roger, call you back. Walker
Okay, that's looking good.
745.
Then check takeoff data.
Hold position, contact apron 121.980.
So let's go ahead and redo those calculations for a moment here. I really could have sworn it would have been the right runway, but okay, 26 left then.
5901.
So,
Can
26
you
left,
please report your intention?
200 meters, and the rest is looking good, so let's hit calculate. It's a flaps 1 takeoff now at 49 degrees, and 138, 152, 160. Okay, 200 meters shift can remain. Flex is 49, and then we have speed 138, 152 and 160.
Contact apron 121.930.
Okay, that's looking good. The CG is 39.9, and I think the rest is looking good for our departure. Okay, wonderful. So let's just prepare GSX for pushback and departure. Say hello to our guests, and then we can go.
Speedbird 59001, ready to copy.
Liebe Gäste, einen wunderschönen guten Morgen aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der Lufthansa darf ich Sie herzlich an Bord unseres A380 Flagship Service nach New York begrüßen. Die Flugzeit heute ist mit knapp unter 8 Stunden berechnet. Wir erwarten anfangs einen ruhigen Flug. Ab circa der Hälfte können wir dann allerdings auf einige Turbulenzen stoßen, weshalb wir Sie bitten, dass Sie Ihren Anschnallgurt angelegt lassen, auch wenn die Anschnallzeichen ausgeschaltet sein sollten. Wir bedanken uns an der Stelle ganz herzlich, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind, melden uns dann im Anflug auf New York mit dem neuesten Wetter, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und einen guten Flug mit uns. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel, and in the name of Lufthansa, I would like to welcome you on board our flight 410 on this A380 flagship service to New York JFK. Flight time today is calculated at just under 8 hours, and we expect a smooth flight for the first half, and thereafter maybe a couple bumps here and there as we are transiting along the North American coastline. Thank you very much for being our guests today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Okay, that's looking good.
Finishing delivery, good day, Lufthansa 7.
So then,
information on the requesting airport to Stockholm 12.
transponder on.
749er, standby for clearance. Eurowings 1 Tango Mike, ready to copy.
Ready to copy, Eurowings 1 Tango Mike.
Eurowings 1 Tango Mike, clear to Hamburg, input 2 November.
And then we just gotta find a free spot on the frequency in order to grab our IFR clearance. Scheduled off-block is now, so we are running rather well. Probably a few minutes pushback delay, nothing to worry about. So, this gentleman just needs to answer now. Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, request startup.
Sorry for that, problem with Mike. Cleared Hamburg via input.
And of course now the guy replies.
7,000 feet, squawk 1,000, Eurowings 1 Tango Mike.
Negative, Eurowings 1 Tango Mike, climb via SIT to flight level 70.
Climb via SIT to flight level 70, sorry for that, Eurowings 1 Tango Mike.
Towards ready for startup.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, startup approved, connect apron 121.710, choose.
Startup approved 121.71 Lufthansa 410 Bravo, choose.
Lufthansa 9er Papa, ready copy.
So 12171.
Good day, Patron, Ocean.
So, quick check to make sure that GSX is ready, but it sure looks like it. Okay.
Ocean 216, München, Pendular, push approved, face west.
Push approved, face west, Ocean 216.
München Apron, good morning, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, request pushback.
And able to pass the A380, correct?
No, not at the moment, Tugafinki.
Roger, Lufthansa 2 Golf Yankee, in that case, taxi directly to X2 and continue via Echo 2, Delta 6 Orange Line and Echo 3 to stand.
So, let's try again after him.
Echo 2, direct to Echo 2, then Delta 6 Orange and stand 309 Lufthansa Tugafinki.
München Apron, good morning, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, request pushback.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, I call it back.
Okay, probably traffic behind, I guess, so ground flight deck.
Roger, then taxi Delta 3 Orange, Echo 3 Orange to stand.
So, you can remove all the ground equipment, please. Let us know once we are ready to go.
Corrections and 309 to go, thank you.
Okay, so after 5, sorry for pushback to the low line, that is back.
Okay, 375, taxi to entry.
So, quick look outside. That guy is not standing there correctly. If you look at that, he's blocking everything. The A380 gate. I think the next one would be over there at what's it called again? I think it's 318. They don't have that many A380 gates here. Probably fewer A380 gates than they actually have Fewer A380 gates than they have A380 pilots on VATSIM these days.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, push approved, face south.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, pushback approved, facing south. Okay, before start checklist. So, park and brake is
156.
set,
Push approved,
takeoff
face
speeds
south.
and thrust. 138, 152, 160, flex 49.
Lufthansa to Mike Juliet, request
Before start
taxi.
checklist complete.
We are able Alpha 10.
Okay, ground flight. So we're clear to start, facing south, and the park and brake is set.
Lufthansa to Mike Juliet, Alpha 12 is copied, contact tower 120 correction 11870 Ciao.
Tower 11870.
Okay, facing south, Echo 2, I
Lufthansa
believe.
424, pushback approved, face west into
Okay, release your park and brake.
3.
Park and brake released, and standing by for engine start. Roger.
Lufthansa 3 Hotel, pushback approved, face south on Echo 3.
Okay, here we go. So, pushback 4 minutes delayed, that's completely fine.
Lufthansa 35 Hotel.
We are going to make that up
pushback
in
face
flight
south,
anyway.
Echo 3.
If we take a look at the flight plan for a moment here,
Facing south, Echo 3, Lufthansa.
we can see our scheduled arrival time is 2040, and our expected arrival time 1947, so we're almost an hour early. As I mentioned, the headwind is really not too bad today.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel, Munich Apron, hello, push and start approved, face south, caution, there is a company A380 pushing left, on your left.
Facing south, and we're looking for traffic in Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel.
Walker 745, contact tower 120-505, goodbye.
Okay, flight from ground, you're clear to start your engines.
C33 for Papa, Citizen.
Roger, starting in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, and starting 1 and 2 now. Checked.
April and Eurowings 1 Tango Mike, stand 219er Bravo, request push.
So,
Eurowings 2, correction.
N2 is rising a little bit quickly here. The N2 should be quite a bit slower than N3.
To Eurowings 1 Tango Mike, thank you.
As you can see down here by that backlit area of the N3, the starter is actually connected to the N3 spool, so obviously N3 goes fastest, then N2 goes a little bit slower than that, because the air compressed by the N3 needs to rotate the N2, and then you have N1 following. So it's a 3-spool engine.
Expect a little bit of delay once the company in front has pushed into Delta 3, you can expect your taxi clearance.
Okay, the A321 over here is going as well. I have no clue where that gentleman is going. Welcome to VATSIM. Okay, we have 2 good starts, starting engines 3 and 4. Clear 3 and 4. They just go through one another. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Pushback complete, set park and brake. Park and brake set.
Lufthansa 453, München, Apron, hello.
Okay, you're clear to lower us down, remove all the ground equipment, and advisement clear, please.
Delta 6.
Taxi via Delta 1, Echo 2, and hold stop signal 6.
So, the engine starts are looking good at number 3 and 4. Let's just wait until the engines become available then. Okay, ground, we have 4 good starts, you're clear to disconnect. Please show me the pin on the left-hand side. Und schönen Tag noch. Cheers.
Hotel, taxi to entry Sierra Liner, via
And here we
Echo 3,
go.
Delta 3.
T2 entry, Sierra Liner via Echo 3, Delta 3, Lufthansa 35 Hotel.
Okay, trim at 40%. Here we are, looking good.
2 Mike November.
Okay, here comes the ramp agent. He's holding a pin in the hands.
Delta 2 Mike November, München Apron, hello. Once the A380 behind you has moved, push approved.
Okay.
South on Echo 3 Blue Line.
Clearance received after start checklist.
Once the A380 is moved out of our way,
Anti-ice.
push and start
Engine
to
anti-ice on.
facing
After start checklist complete.
south onto the blue line.
So, still waiting for the gentleman in front, so let's commence the flight control check, please.
216 request taxi.
Full up. Full down. Neutral.
216.
Full left.
Taxi via Delta 3, hold behind the A380
Full right.
in front.
Neutral.
Via
Right.
Delta 3 and hold
Full
before
left.
Airbus A380.
Full right. Neutral.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel, request taxi.
So that's hopefully him.
Hansa 6 Juliet Hotel, taxi via Echo 2 to entry Sierra 8.
Yep, sounds like it.
Echo 2 Sierra 8, Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel.
requesting push and start.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, request taxi.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, follow company, head to entry Sierra 8.
Follow the company Sierra 8, Lufthansa 410 Bravo.
Medic 090, München.
Okay.
Apron, hello, push approved, face east.
Push and start approve facing east.
So that gentleman who just interrupted when the taxi clearance was given,
For a holding short, Delta 6.
gotta admit, I really didn't care about him. If he interrupts like that,
Lufthansa
before they
435,
comment in an
contact
endless
taxi via
say again
Echo
loop,
2, hold
I might
short
as well
Delta
just
3.
chime in there.
Taxi
Okay,
via
brake check.
Echo 2, short of Delta
Pressure
6.
0.
Lufthansa 44 is ready for taxi.
Lufthansa 424, taxi via
So,
Delta
424, that's the next
3,
A380?
Echo 2.
I think that's Boston, if I'm not mistaken.
Lufthansa 35 Hotel give way to an A321 and to a company A380 passing on your right on Echo 2 and taxi to entry Sierra 8 via Echo 2.
Okay, I think that's us, the second, or the A380 he should give way to, so let's have a good look outside to make sure that he actually does that. Something tells me it's the A380 over there.
Actually, contact our
Gotta love seeing those many A380s around.
0505 Lufthansa 6.
It really is a sign about the wonderful quality of the fly-by-wire A380.
Lot 156, taxi via Echo 3, Delta 3, hold short of Echo 2.
Echo 3, Delta 3, hold short.
So, the company is holding two company 380s.
Taxi via Delta 3, hold
Beautiful.
short of Echo
Just beautiful.
Taxi via Delta 3, hold short of Echo 2, Ocean 2.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, Tower 12050 True.
120.505, Lufthansa 410 Bravo, cheers.
Swiss 420 ready for taxi.
Runway 26 left, Lufthansa 5163.
München Tower, guten Morgen, Lufthansa 410 Bravo, Super at Sierra 8.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, München Tower, low, taxi Sierra, Bravo 15, boarding point 26 left.
Taxi Sierra Bravo 15, holding point 26 left, Lufthansa 410 Bravo. Okay, Bravo 15 I think is the last one. Makes sense. Okay. So, clear on the right hand side,
37 Papa, taxi Alpha 9, November.
clear on the left hand side.
Alpha 9 November 3, Lufthansa 37 Papa.
Lake 1 Charlie, when the Rebel 1 not run with 26 right, let's land. 26 right, let's land, Lake 1 Charlie.
Tower, Lufthansa 344, IOS established.
Lufthansa 344, München Tower, low, 1 departure, continue.
Continue approach, Lufthansa 344.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel, line up runway 26 left.
Line up 26 left, Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel.
Lufthansa 37 Papa, contact Apron 121-710.
12171, Lufthansa 37 Papa, true.
Okay, so no changes to the takeoff briefing. We're clear to the full length, so I am going to remove that shift down there. Squawk is looking good. Taxi checklist, please.
Lufthansa 35 Hotel on Sierra
Flight
8.
controls checked. Flap setting. Conform plus F. Radar on.
Sierra Bravo 15.
Taxi checklist complete.
Taxi runway hold on 6 via Sierra and Bravo 15, Lufthansa 3 Hotel.
So, Bravo 15 is the second to the right.
Lufthansa 5133. Lufthansa 5133, contact departure 127.955, ciao. 127.955, Lufthansa 5133.
Okay, 127.955, pre-selected. As we are probably going to get the same.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel, wind variable 1 knot, runway 26 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel.
I'm going pretty slow here because he has arrived, or he has advised the arriving traffic that there will be one departure ahead, which is the company 321 in front of us, so we already know that we are going to be behind the arriving aircraft. For this reason, no need to rush. We can take it slow as well. And after all, always remember when you're taxiing a wide body that any piece of energy you put into the aircraft, think for example, any acceleration you do by increasing thrust.
Confirm clear to land, Lufthansa 344.
344, not yet.
Oh boy, that was pure Watson gold again. Preceding traffic on the roll, expect clearance at 1 mile. Confirm clear to land.
Variable 1 knot, runway 26 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, Lufthansa 344.
Lake 1 Charlie, contact Apron 121.710.
Apron 121.710, Lake 1 Charlie.
That was so typical Watson. Okay, so...
Bravo, behind including Lufthansa Airbus A320 short final lineup, runway 26 left and wait behind.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo super behind the landing traffic, lineup runway 26 left behind. Okay, here comes the traffic. They do not have low-vis procedures in use, so we can already taxi forward to the Cat 1 holding point.
Lufthansa 6 Juliet Hotel.
Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
216 Mid Tower, low taxi Sierra, Bravo 13, holding point 26 left.
Mission Tower, there was the Lufthansa 105, ILS 20 left.
Lufthansa 145 Mid Tower, low, continue 1 departure ahead.
Continue 105. Mission Tower, Wings 1 Tango Mike.
Approaching 26 left.
1 Tango Mike Mid Tower, low taxi November Alpha 13, holding point 26
Lineup checklist. So, takeoff runway, 26 left, full length, cabin crew, advised, PAX 1 and 2, off.
Negative November at Alpha 13.
Lineup checklist complete.
Alpha 13, sorry for that, Wings 1 Tango Mike.
Lufthansa 344, continue taxi Bravo
Okay.
8, Sierra 307.
Traffic has apparently stopped on the runway.
Bravo 8, Sierra.
Somewhat expected that.
Lufthansa 344.
No need to taxi any faster here.
Bravo, wind variable 1 knot, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff. Okay, are you ready? Take off.
On runway 26 left.
Intentionally. Manflex 49, SS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set, checked. .100 knots, checked. V1.
Lufthansa 344.
Rotate.
Caution 216, lift up. Fokker 375.
Positive climb. Gear up. Nav, checked.
Fokker 75, four line up, runway 26 left.
Line up on runway 26 left, Fokker 105.
Autopilot 1. It's rather busy over here. I'd rather not hand fly, but simply have the aircraft fly itself here.
Fokker 75 forward, no delay, keep it rolling, wind variable 1 knot, runway 26
First climb,
left,
climb,
clear for
auto
takeoff,
thrust.
expedite.
Runway 26 left, different takeoff, 105.
Forward 1 Bravo departure, 127, 955, ciao.
127.955, Lufthansa 410 Bravo, tschüss.
Can you repeat?
118705. 118705, Lufthansa 127, danke dir, ciao.
Okay, flaps 0, speed checked. And engine anti-ice off.
Hotel contact 13415, ciao.
So, here we go.
134, 150, Lufthansa 62 Hotel.
So the 3 Lima Alpha descent to altitude 7000 feet, QNH 1027.
Speed, vertical speed.
So the 4 Juliet Whiskey turn right
Set
230,
standard.
clear left 26 right, speed 200 or greater.
Standard cross check, passing flight level 48. Now, check.
So 3 Mike, contact tower 120505, ciao.
Tower 120505, Lufthansa 3 Mike, ciao.
LM 1123, reduce speed to 20. Tower 432, speed 220 knots.
München, guten Morgen, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, flight level 57, climbing 70.
So the 410 Bravo, München radar service identified, climb to flight level 190 via set.
Climb to flight level 190, Lufthansa 410 Bravo.
So 3 Lima Alpha via 439, clear ILS 265,
Okay.
7000 until glide path.
Flight level 190 blue. Thrust lever, climb. The reason I'm going thrust lever over here is I'm matching the thrust with the computed thrust indication so that the aircraft doesn't go completely mental with its rate of climb. As you can see, this gives us a much more believable rate of climb here.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, contact München 134 ciao.
134, 150, Lufthansa 410 Bravo, tschüss.
Walker 1045, München radar, low identified, climb by 6 to flight level
Easy 1 kilo Juliet Machado, low identified, climb flight level 270.
München, guten Morgen, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, flight level 901, climbing 190.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, München radar, guten Morgen, identified, direct to Taba, continue climb flight level 260.
Direct to Taba, climb flight level 260, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super. Flight level 260 blue.
München radar service, this is 1
Direct to
flight level 156, climbing 240.
New Taba. Insert.
This 188 München service identified, direct Umweg. Direct Umweg, this 188. This 188, continue climb flight level 310.
Okay, passing 10,000. Yeah, we can release our guests.
Lufthansa 27 Yankee, leaving my sector, Unicorn, guten Tag.
And that's it. Okay, so we're out of Munich. And en route to New York. Let's see. Just around 3,600 miles to go. ETA 1940, which is well ahead of schedule. 29 tons. Well, I don't think we'll have that much when we actually get there. I don't think this currently takes the winds into account, but let's see what is going to happen. In any case, few things we can already do is to have a look into our flight plan and see if we have any good point for our fuel track. Top of climb and thereafter Lupin. So Lupin is probably where we're going to do the fuel track. But that is still quite a while out, so for the time being, that's pretty much anything we need to do over here. Okay, so pitch is just at about 7.5, that's just fine for the passengers to be released. Always got to keep an eye on the thrust here, that we keep a sensible amount, at least for the time being, where the fly-by-wire A380 is a little bit overpowered. Alright, so I think I'm perfectly fine with the speed for the time being. However, I am thinking about just increasing it a little bit, maybe 310 or so, but yeah, I tell you what, let's do that. So, speed 310, and then Mach 0.84 on the transition into climb. In general, my idea over here is that we are going to use selected speed over the flight, because the current cost index implementation of the fly-by-wire is basically always 290 and Mach 0.82 in the cruise. And, well, That's a little bit slow. In the real world, the A380s are normally going around Mach 8.4, Mach 8.5 roundabout. So that's what we are going to do. Alright, I think above flight level 3 or above flight level 260 they probably don't have ATC online anymore, but we'll see about it. In any case, for the time being, I'd say we are going to speed this one up a little bit, and then I see you as we're getting closer to New York. New York, we are getting closer. Overflying Plym right now, and at Plym we're supposed to be 7 hours 18 in the air, which we've met exactly, and we're meant to have 15.4 tons of fuel, so we have just slightly more. Apart from that, as always, you brief the passengers when you're expecting the turbulence, and the exact opposite happens. You get the turbulence in the first kinda quarter of the flight, a little bit more when Newfoundland, but that was pretty much it. As always, you just can't do it right with the turbulence. That's why so many colleagues just don't do it in the first place. But okay, let's go right back to our flight. We have about 50 miles to our top of descent, and that means we have a very good position right now to start working on our descent preparation. On the right hand side you can see Boston in the back there, another Lufthansa A380 destination. And we are just overflying the US and the famous Cape over here. Alright, so enough of that, let's get into the flight deck and start working on our arrival. The latest weather for New York at the moment, 060 at 4 with 10 miles visibility, few clouds, 5 degrees, altimeter 3034. So let's go ahead and start pre-selecting that.
Altimeter setting.
Yeah. So, 3034, here we go. And I do suppose we can't easily change the altimeter setting down here. That's not a problem in that case. 3034 equals 1027. Easy going. Alright, and with that our standby is set as well now. From there on, let's go ahead and collect some charts and then start to prepare for our landing in New York. So, looking for our destination, and we've got the Part 3 arrival. And the approach is going to be an ILS approach runway 4 right. Is it 4 right or 4 left? Just gotta recheck that one. And as always, if you're unsure about the preparation you want to do, then my recommendation is that you are going to have a look at either the ATIS or Flight Radar 24. Right now though, there is an ATIS online, so let's go ahead and have a listen. The JFK Asus is on 128275, so let's check that out. Actually, my mistake, 128725. Let's try that one.
Visibility 10. Few clouds at 4,000. Ceiling 15,000 broken. 25,000 broken. Temperature 5. Dew point -1. Altimeter 3034. Approach and use ILS runway 4 right. ILS 4. Departing runway 4 left. Notices to air mission. Operate transponder on mode Charlie on all taxiways and runways. Briefing all runway hold short instructions. Braking action advisory is in effect. Advise on initial contact. You have information Bravo.
Okay, we have information Bravo, ILS 4 right is in use, and indeed that is what we have programmed in our FMS as well. So let's go ahead and bring up the plan mode here. Have a quick look at our airport. So, airport select, JFK, display airport. Let's bring it up. And here we go. So we are landing runway 4 right, and then probably vacating somewhere close to the end. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit further. Probably going to vacate Fox Bravo over here, maybe Foxtrot. Let's see what we get. So 4 right, and the wet distance is actually all the way to the end. Well, let's see if we can make Fox Bravo. Well, 1,300 meters down the runway, that is probably not the best idea. So we're probably going to vacate at the very end then. Okay, in any case, let's go ahead and start working on our star first of all. So, for the approach, ILS 4 right is already pinned, and then for our airport itself, A380 approved taxi routes. That one's going to be interesting for us. Okay, so Fox Bravo indeed, or maybe Echo. Either of the two is going to work. We'll have to see about it. Then in here we can only taxi via Alpha. Actually, we'll have to check those color codes just to be on the sure side over here, what the brown one means. Okay, brown is A380 operations prohibited. Perfect, so we can only use Alpha down here, we can't use Bravo. Gotta make sure that we tell the air traffic controller that, if he doesn't know. Because obviously they do have a one-way system over here. In any case, that's that part. Then we are parking down here, terminal, I think it's 5. Let's check the parking stand charts. See if we can find anything on that. So, parking gates, terminal 4. No, that's not ours. Terminal 5, that's it. And we're parking stand 7 today, which is the one that Lufthansa is using in the real world. Okay, so we're inbound to Providence already. Well, we're over Providence already. And from there, Providence to Trade, flight level 240. Let's check that out. Interestingly enough, there is no altitude restriction here, okay. Interestingly enough, there is no altitude restriction in here at all. Okay, well, then let's start entering. So, Carberton, 12,250 knots. And that is at restriction. So, Carberton at 12,000. Then we can enter anything from Parch, it seems. Okay. That's probably the reason why the trade restriction is missing. In any case, I tell you what, let's go ahead and start the descent just to be sure that we make all those restrictions here in time. Okay, so trade 240, we'll do that manually. Parched Calverton at 12,000. And then we've got Rover at 9,000. And thereafter radar vectors. So let's see, Rover, altitude 9,000. At... Here we go, looking good. Check speed mode, yep. I'm on selected speed manually for the time being. Okay, and then eventually radar vectors. So that arrival is looking good the way it is now. Starting radar vectors for the ILS approach onto runway 4 right. So out of ZTAL 2000, Eddy 1500, 3-degree glide. And we have ZTAL 2000, Eddy 1500, 3-degree glide. And in case of go-around, climb to 800 feet, then climbing right turn to 4000 feet, heading 099. And Victor 44 to Delta Papa Kilo VOR to hold. Yeah, a missed approach that joins an airway, because why not? So on here they go 221, so that's 041 inbound on the opposite course. So that missed approach here is correct, but come on, how bad can you design a missed approach procedure? So fasten seatbelts on, please. Okay, so onto the performance then. We are already descending, so we can ignore this part. For the approach, let's see, 06084. The temperature 5 and the altimeter 3034. Okay, finally let's have a look at the approach chart again for our minimums. 212. Okay, config full. The approach 141 looks correct, and for the go-around and the flap retraction, 2000 is the MSA, so let's use 2000 for the engine out acceleration altitude. Okay, looking good, and that's it. Then last but not least, we gotta enter the... landing into here. So landing on 4 right, which is selected, and vacating Foxtrot Bravo, which is 1,300 meters. I don't quite believe that. What does the chart say? So we have 2,560 meters of runway available. Landing over here, vacating here. That's got to be some 2,000 meters or so. And I think that's completely fine if you use that. So, yep, Fox Bravo is what we'll take. BTV blue. And I'll just trust it to make that exit correctly. If not, we are going to override manually. Okay. Well, fine. So, next up, descend 12,000, set QNH. QNH 3034 cross-check, passing 24,800 now. Checked. Okay. So, with all that good stuff in, let's go ahead and start the approach briefing, please. Okay, Patch 3 arrival for an ILS approach runway 04 right. MSA 2,000 feet, minimum's 212, go around straight at 800, right turn, join the Victor 44 airway, inbound Delta Papa Kilo, climbing 4,000 feet. Extra fuel, we have 16.1, and if we just have a quick look, The minimum is 12.1, so we arrive with around 15.5, so we have definitely not 12.1 extra. That calculation surely isn't quite working down here yet. In any case, we end up with around 3,000 kilos extra, which is some 15... around about 15 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. The approach will be flown manually, manual thrust, but with flight director guidance, landing config full, stop margin, we're looking at around 500 meters-ish. Reversers will be used, auto brakes, BTV to vacate via the exit we have already discussed. For the taxi in, we've got to cross 2 runways, and then we've got to cross 1 runway, 2 to right, and thereafter a 2nd runway, 3-1 right, and then most likely straight at Delta Bravo, Alpha, all the way around until we can enter our gate over here. We'll have to see, they may send us down here on Alpha as well. We just gotta pay attention whether they say left or right on Alpha. And I think that's it. Okay, I don't see any special or non-standard operations. However, it might be worth mentioning that this is a rather short runway for us, so we don't flare the aircraft into eternity, we just put it right down into the touchdown zone. Any questions? Nope? Perfect. And just to mention it in terms of left or right, you can see over here we are going on the inner taxiway, which is clockwise, so we probably taxi via Alpha down here to the gate, but let's be careful here. And in any case, if they ask, we are going to stand number 7 on Terminal 1. Gotta be careful here that we don't just say stand 7, because there's several stand 7 on this entire airport. Okay, that's it. Any questions? No? Wonderful. So let's just keep the speed where it is now, and then Calverton in 12,000. Something like that is probably looking good here. Okay, wonderful. So that's our preparation completed. Let's go ahead and turn the landing light on already, since we're below 18,000, and with that we now have a little bit of time available to enjoy the beautiful views outside as we're coming in over Long Island. To go. Checked. So expecting a row by 9,000, and from there to Kennedy VOR and eventually radar vectors. We'll level off in 12,000 here for a short moment, and after Calverton we can continue our descent. So, the sun is already coming in rather low. Yeah, this is the time of the year, I believe it's the 21st of November, where we've got the shortest day on the Northern Hemisphere before it eventually slowly starts starts getting brighter again, and the days are getting slowly longer again. So yeah, right now is about the time where you are going to do the most night flying, which is something that I personally do notice on my trips. By the way, normally it should be 250 knots over Calverton, let's say ATC has relieved us of that restriction since there is simply no other traffic around here. Okay, so approaching Calverton, let's go down to Roba 9000. Then we can manage our speed as well, as we'll have to slow down to 250 knots for 10,000. So, speed descent alt 9000 blue. So as mentioned, we're reaching the time where we have the longest nights around the year. And it is something that I personally do definitely notice when flying long haul. Because it is that time where you can do an entire eastbound flight, say for example from the US East Coast over to Germany, completely in darkness. You depart slowly after sunset, or shortly after sunset, and then you end up, well, you end up landing just prior to sunrise. Those are the hardest flights in my opinion, because when the body recognizes that it's dark outside, the body just wants to put you asleep. Especially since you're doing those flights with only 2 pilots usually from the US East Coast. That's really the hardest there is in my opinion. Anything longer and you're flying with 3 pilots again. But anything shorter, and it's not too bad for your body, well, that's that kind of operation. Of course you do know that kind of stuff before you decide to go long haul, so there's always that. You can't complain too much. Okay then, speed 250. Here we go. First idle open descent. Approaching 10,000, lights on, signs on, EFIS CP set, LS. Selected. And that's it. Okay. So, speed's coming down nicely, 6 miles to run, vertical speed, minus 1,000, that should get us down nicely. Okay, the reason I'm going selected speed over here is that for a reason that I don't really know, there is a decel point prior to Roba. I'm really not very sure where that comes from. There's no speed restriction that would mandate to activate the approach phase at that point. I just don't know. In any case, let's go ahead and do the approach checklist, please. So, barrel ref, QNH 1034. Minimum, Baro 212, auto brake, BTV, approach checklist complete. Flying right into the sun. Okay, passing Roba, 34 miles to run, speed alt star. Alt. Okay, so we've got to get a little bit closer to JFK. Basically, once we are within the 25 miles of the landing runway over here, that is when I'm going to commence my descent. 2.9, the MSA on the star chart, a little bit lower on the ILS chart. Either of the two is going to work just fine. Okay, well, we did not say goodbye to our passengers yet. I might just about do that now. You have control and your ATC. Liebe Gäste aus dem Cockpit, hier Kapitän. Wir haben den Anflug nach New York gestartet. Überfliegen jetzt gerade Long Island. you see auf der linken Seite sehen können. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie heute Lufthansa geflogen sind, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise. Das Wetter in New York aktuell klarer Himmel, wir erwarten einige sehr schöne Aussichten mit der Skyline von Manhattan am Horizont während unserer Landung. Die klare Winterluft hat allerdings ihren Preis mit einer Temperatur von nur 5 Grad. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass Sie heute Lufthansa geflogen sind, wünschen Ihnen eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und hoffen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge begrüßen zu dürfen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have started our approach to New York with a remaining flight time in the region of about 15 minutes. The weather at the moment, clear skies and the temperature of 5 degrees. On the left side you can see Long Island, on the right hand side you can see the countryside of the US coast. On the arrival into New York we do expect some marvelous views as we've got very good visibilities at the moment with the skyline of Manhattan on the horizon. Thank you very much for choosing Lufthansa today. We hope that you have enjoyed your stay on board and look forward to welcoming you again on board of the future service. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, the passengers are dealt with. 23 miles from the VOR, we can see our airport coming up over there, and I think I can start making out Manhattan over there. Okay then, sounds like a good point to turn away from. So let's make a left turn heading to 50. This must be such a beautiful area to live in. Okay, so descend and maintain 6,000, and we are gradually gonna go down. I don't want to go below 6,000 for as long as we're overflying land. So for now, thrust idle, descent alt 6,000 blue. So we do start receiving the ILS, India Juliet Oscar Charlie. Which is not correct yet, we should have JFK. So still waiting for the correct ident to come in. Knowing Microsoft Flight Simulator, I bet that once we are abeam the airport, the ident is going to switch. They probably have the same ILS frequency in use on the opposite runways, and therefore you receive the ident of the site on which you currently are. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like that. So, beautiful views up there. So, let's quickly tidy up the flight plan. Direct to ZTAL, insert, pull heading, heading. Okay, we're clear of the coastline, descending 3,000. And there is our airport. So, gonna land on 4 right, that's over here. The runway is already observed, nice and clear. Looking very, very good. And for an added bonus, once we're on final, we are no longer going to have the sun in our face. Nonetheless, I will just turn the backlighting up over here already on the autoflight system control panel. So, Abbey in 1500, ZTEL above 2000, more at like 3000 I believe. If we look at this, ZTEL is on 11 DME from the VOR. The threshold seems to be 1.6, so about 3000 over ZTEL should be just fine. Okay, turn right by 10 degrees. And once we are more or less at beam ZTEL, I am going to start our base turn. In the meantime, we do have a tower online of 119.1. Let's already listen into this, just to see what's going on. However, I don't think that there will be too much happening at this time of the day. What is it? 4 PM local time, I believe. Probably not going to be too busy there just yet. Speed out stop. Alt.
Nothing but static.
Okay, well, not a lot happening as predicted. Let's go back to Honeycomb here for the arrival. Managed speed. Well, and then let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. Manual flight. Okay, turn right, heading 340. So, nothing on the TCAS. Kennedy traffic, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, right base for an ILS approach, runway 04 right. Surprise, no replies. Okay, heading 310 for the time being, please. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. And of course the tower sends to contact me while we're on the base. Kennedy Tower, Lufthansa 410 Bravo Super, right base, ILS 04 right.
Blue 410 Bravo, Kennedy Tower, servus, grüß Gott, schöne Grüße aus Oberschleißheim. Continue on to runway 4 left.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, confirm visual approach 4 left.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, affirmative.
Roger, cleared visual approach 04 left, Lufthansa 410 Bravo, super. Okay, visual 4 left, that makes the taxi a lot easier. Alright, in that case, flight director off, auto brakes 2, LS off,
2,500.
go around altitude 4000 set, flaps 2, speed check, flaps 2. Okay, we got 3 whites on the puppies.
On static, please check the microphone.
Gear down.
Delta 1533, if possible, increase your microphone volume by a bit.
Okay, velocity vectors on. And set runway heading. flaps 3, and flaps full.
Delta 1533, thank you, wonderful, reach 5.
Okay, landing checklist. So, ECAM memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete.
23, IFR to LAX.
Jetblue 123, Canada, wonderful morning. Clear to Los Angeles Airport via Kennedy 5 departure, except fly runway heading up until 1.5 DME, then turn right heading 100.
So, we're getting back into the puppies.
1,000.
Check.
5,000 feet, expect flight level 3401 remains after departure. Departure frequency not available. Squawk 2342.
Approaching 04 left.
Check.
JetBlue 123 clear to Los Angeles. Kennedy 5 departure.
Okay, we're on the puppies.
Heading up to 1.5 DME, then right turn heading 100.
Disregard that glide slope caution there. We are not on that ILS any longer.
Short runway. Short runway.
Yeah.
JetBlue 123 confirm squawk 2342.
100 above.
Check.
Correct. Squawk 2342.
Lufthansa 410, confirm clear to land.
Nice up.
Lufthansa 410, confirm clear to land.
The 410 Bravo, runway 4 left to the land.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, 4 left, clear to land.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Wonderful! That's exactly how you landed.
1533, I have to
Okay, reverse normal.
Flight,
Break 2.
30 Tower, good day, JetBlue 423, request Alpha
70 knots, manual brakes.
Auto brake off.
1,200 meters remaining.
Yeah.
Have clearance, JetBlue 423.
So, any of those exits is available. In other words, we're gonna vacate here at hotel.
Kennedy Tower, JetBlue 123. I was waiting for the confirmation of the readback before I was really interrupted.
JetBlue 123, sorry. Readback was correct.
Okay, clear left and right.
Holding short of Alpha.
Kilo report ready for taxi, JetBlue 120.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, 4 left located, parking terminal 5, stand 7.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, turn right onto Bravo and take which entrance do you need into the ramp?
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, it's gonna be entrance November, and just to confirm, Bravo is not certified for A380s.
Confirm you need November for Terminal 5, November at the Terminal 1.
Standby 1. I could swear this is Terminal 5.
Kennedy Tower, good day, JetBlue 423, requested Alpha clearance to London Heathrow.
It is Terminal 1. Okay, my mistake.
23, Kennedy Tower, hello, standby number 1 for clear, number 2 for clear, sorry.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, you're right, it's November for Terminal 1.
Lufthansa 410 Bravo, thank you, then left onto Alpha and November into the ramp.
Left Alpha November into the ramp, Lufthansa 410 Bravo. Okay. So, no after landing checklist over here. Taxi left onto Alpha, and then November into the ramp. Not sure why I confused Terminal 1 with Terminal 5 here. Happens. This is always the problem. Vacating a runway with a big aircraft like this, you can't get completely clear of the runway without a taxi instruction. For this reason, based on my experience, they normally hand you to the ground while you're still on the runway, and when they see that you are vacating. And then you quickly have your taxi clearance and you can vacate that runway. But with an aircraft this size, if I were to taxi the airplane completely off without taxi clearance, I would completely block Bravo over here. Okay, so Alpha, and then we keep following Alpha, which goes to the right. Always a bit confusing in my opinion here. You've got Alpha, and then it becomes Kilo over here to cross, and Alpha continues to the right. If you don't fly here very often, it's something that you can easily get confused with. Okay, well, that was a very interesting visual approach over here. Last minute, really last minute. But yeah, I'm kind of happy I did call the tower while we were still on the base. For a moment I was thinking, well, I'm gonna call him once I'm on final, because there were too many things to do at that time. You saw how we slightly overshot that final turn, right? But overall, I'm pretty happy I did call them. Okay, so let's see, GSX, Terminal 1, Stand 7, and it's not too small. This is where they are parking in the real world. No follow me needed, handling by shitport. Okay, so this gotta be the ramp over here for terminal, what's that? For the international terminal? Whatever that is. Okay, and then our terminal is that one over there. We taxi to the other side, entering via November. Well then, let's deselect the terrain down here. And of course the simulator starts lagging when you select OANS. Okay, approaching Echo Alpha, which we are clear to cross. Don't really see that on the chart though. Oh, doesn't matter. Probably part of that construction area that we just mentioned. Mike is coming up. So we are gonna cross Mike. And it looks like... yeah, the frame rate is going down a little. Just a little. Let's try and reset that. No, not really. It's interesting, we could perfectly land...
good morning, ProArt 906.
We could land just about perfectly with superb frames, and the moment I start... not sure which it was, either turning the terrain off or switching to OANS on the right ND, start getting these problems. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So... off to the right.
Okay, and JetBlue 422.3, you call for clearance?
Alright, and then via November.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, 422.3, switch to ground on 121.9 for clearance.
121,
And JetBlue 223, you also
just wondering, if I go to the outside views...
yeah, sorry. JetBlue 8518,
no, it's still just as laggy. Someone understands the simulator. Oh well. We're almost there, so...
the other station calling, who was waiting for clearance, take order.
Okay, so stand 7 is going to be over here. I'm really trying to take it slow right now. Wow, I have no idea what is degrading the performance right now, but it's got really bad. Maybe the memory leak is not completely fixed yet on the terrain display. It used to have one, even though it worked fine for the entire flight now. Okay, keep rolling forward, please.
To the 1533, I was calling for someone who was waiting. So, contact ground 121.9 now.
Contact ground 121.9.
And here we go. Come on. Okay, stop. Perfect. That's what I wanted to see. Okay. APU bleed on. APU is available. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Come on, is it GSX that's causing this? Request deboarding.
Good morning, Stephen 1 Heavy. Just becoming fully established for that's alright.
Come on.
Stephen 1 Heavy, Kennedy Tower, wonderful good morning. Runway 4 left, clear to land.
Stevens 1, we are on the approach to 04 right.
Ah, sorry, I thought you said 4 left. In that case, runway 4 right, clear to land.
Alright.
Stevens 1 till land 4 right. Stevens 1.
Come on, GSX, don't block my click spots, please. So, parking checklist, please. If you may. Park and brake our trucks. Well, brake set, wing light off, parking checklist complete. Well, thank you very much for flying along, everyone. I do hope that you have enjoyed this one. Be sure to leave your feedback in the comments below. And yeah, once again, my apologies for the lag that we had here on the very final taxi part. In any case, I'm happy the landing worked just fine, so I think we can look over this. Thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.